Hello, my beautiful friend. It's Betsy Gutting. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video on reparenting yourself, also known as inner child healing. This is by far the most transformational, positive, powerful information that I can share with you as a spiritual teacher, as someone who's been an intuitive life coach for over 20 years now. This is by far the most impactful process that I have ever experienced, both in my own healing and also in working with clients to help facilitate their healing as well. So I'm super excited to share with you this information, and I feel like the time is so perfect. This is a timeless video, but if you're listening to it right as it's coming out, it's Easter time. It's a time of rebirth. It's a time of transformation. Easter is all about, as we know, death and rebirth. And even if you do not have a Christian or a Catholic background, I certainly don't, it's a time that we feel this sort of rising to life, this beginning again, the springtime. It is so much about transformation and new life. Reigniting our life force, being a kid again, getting that joie de vivre back, getting that lust for life, that lust for life back. And so this is such a powerful time. So in this video, I want to share with you three things. First of all, I want to share with you, what do I mean by reparenting? Second of all, I want to talk briefly about the astrology of now and how it is such an auspicious time to either begin a reparenting process within yourself, if you haven't started this yet, or to deepen your inner child healing practices. Many of you I know have been doing inner child work, inner work for many years now, many years now. And so have I. And yet, there are layers to this process. There's a continuum, and we continue to become more and more aware of the subtleties of how we take care of ourselves or don't, how we nurture ourselves or not. We become more and more aware of the subtleties of that. And so, I feel like this is a lifelong process. It's a lifelong process. So number three in this video, I want to share with you some tools, some powerful, practical tools that you can begin to apply to your life right away that can really enhance your life and just can bring you more of a sense of ease and grace, and that you can have the life you want. You can be the person, maybe that you're not from here. You've always felt like the odd one out. Maybe you've always felt like you were the black sheep, so to speak, in your own family. Maybe you feel, you're a light worker, you're a starseed, you're from another realm. And, I certainly relate to that as well. But wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing if we could feel as home here as we feel in the ethereal realms, as we feel in the mystical realms? And to not want to be in that home. How many of you, and I raise my hand to this, of course I can relate to this, how many of you have had times in your life, and maybe this is one of them, where you have felt like, I just want to go home. I just want to go back to source. I just want to be out of this body where I don't have all of the stresses and worries and the hard work that you have to do to be, having an earthly experience as a spiritual being. I don't want to be here anymore. How many of you have felt that? I mean, I felt that so many times in my life, and it's one of the reasons that I got on a spiritual path, and even on a spiritual path, I felt that at times. So wouldn't it be amazing to create a home for yourself here on this planet, in this body, where you feel a deep sense of belonging, where you know what it is that you want to contribute, and you feel supported in all ways, financially, physically, mentally, groups, communities supporting you, and so forth. You feel that support, you feel that anchoring, you feel that sense of security and safety. This is what inner child reparenting can give us. Before I get into it, I want to say hello if you are new to me. I am an intuitive life coach and a psychic astrologer, and I love helping you, supporting you, empowering you to take whatever vision it is, whatever you want to create in the world, whatever is calling to you, calling to your heart, to bring that into the world. I am here to support you. I'm here to be your believing mirror, to be your trusted confidant, to be your accountability partner. I will leave the links below to my website, to my astrology consultations, as well as my soul alchemy coaching. And I have a free gift for you. I will tell you all about it at the end of the video, so be sure you stay tuned to the end. I will also be pulling a tarot card for us for this inner child healing reparenting process. I love the magic that comes through the cards, so we'll do that at the end of the video as well. All right, so now let's get into it. So number one, what do I mean by reparenting? What is reparenting? What is inner child healing? Well, in a nutshell, it's giving yourself what you didn't receive as a child. The love, the care, the devotion, the attention, the I see you, I hear you, I feel you. That connection, that sense of I know that I'm supported. I know that I'm anchored. I know that I'm protected. I know that all my needs will always be met here in this earthly life. So I know we all came from different circumstances. Some of us were raised by two parents. Some of us were raised by a single parent. Some of us were raised by a grandparent. Some of us probably feel like we raised ourselves or did raise ourselves, or, we had a mentor or, a teacher that was influential, both positive or negative in our lives. Some of us came from very abusive families. Some have experienced, most of us have experienced a certain degree of trauma, if not quite a bit of trauma. So we've all come from different circumstances, but what we all have in common is that we all have a need for a sense of belonging, to feel like we belong in this life, in the environment that we're in the work that we're doing. We have a core sense of belonging. We have a core need to be seen for who we really are, our authentic, deepest self. We have a core need to be heard, to be listened to be mirrored back, and we have a core need to feel deeply loved, to receive empathy from others for the trials and tribulations that are just part of an earthly life. And many of you watching can relate to being highly sensitive or empathic. You came here to be the presence of love in some way. Even if you haven't fully awakened to your purpose yet, there is something inside of you that knows that you are here for a divine purpose. And this makes you most likely a very loving person, a very giving person, somebody who really wants to give to others. But most likely as a child and or in past lives, you didn't receive back what you knew you were here to give or what you gave to others. And this was heartbreaking to you. This was absolutely heartbreaking to you, even if you weren't aware of it, even if you weren't aware of it as a child, because as children, we were in survival mode a lot of the time, especially as highly sensitive people. And we were just reacting to our environment and doing the very best we could to feel safe and secure. Because we experienced, so many of us, not being mirrored back, not being seen for who we are, we experienced broken hearts. Now it's so important that we heal these broken hearts so that we can come into the world feeling whole, feeling strong, feeling anchored, feeling secure, and give what it is we have to give and receive back, at the same time receive back the energy that we give out. So this is what the reparenting inner child healing process can do for us. So number two, let's talk about the astrology briefly and how it is supporting us to do this inner child work. We have the planet Chiron, which is known as the wounded healer, in Aries. Now first, what do I mean by the wounded healer? Chiron is where we have experienced our deepest, what we call wounding, our deepest heartbreak, the core wounds of betrayal, abandonment, and shame. Chiron is our ability to do that healing on ourselves and then share what we've learned through our own healing process with other people. It's like your deepest wound is your greatest strength. It's your most vulnerable, tender spot is your gift to the world. It allows you to bring your gifts out into the world even more. So this is Chiron, and Chiron is in Aries right now. Aries is connected to the root chakra. The root chakra, our survival, our sense of security in the world. It's where we do the fight, flight, or freeze response. It's a very reactive energy. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the very first sign. So it's like we're out of the womb and we're in this environment, and how do we respond? How do we keep ourselves safe? So Chiron in Aries is taking us through a process of healing our inner child, basically. This is what this is all about. And Chiron went into Aries in 2018. So you might want to think back to April of 2018. Did anything shift for you? Anything get triggered for you in 2018? Here we are in 2022. And Chiron will be in Aries through 2026. It will retrograde back some degrees, and then it will finally go into Taurus for good in 2027. So we have 5 more years of Chiron in Aries. Chiron in Aries is also connected to our identity, our I am self. So the lowest octave of Aries is where we're impulsive, where we just speak without thinking, where we're reactive, where we lash out, where we have a temper, where we have anger. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's our masculine energy. So in the wounded masculine, we can just fly off the handle and not think about other people and just be all about ourselves. In our most healed masculine, the divine masculine, the higher octave of Aries energy is the I am self, is knowing that we are the Buddha incarnated. It's knowing that we are here to be the presence of love. It's coming out and sharing our gifts with the world in a very empowered, confident, courageous, joyful way. This is the highest octave. So this is what we're moving in the direction of. Chiron in Aries is also connected to our sense of performance, how we do, how we affect others. So it's like it started when we were in school, and maybe you can relate to wanting to do well, you wanting to get the A, wanting to be validated by people, authorities above you, by parents, by teachers, and so forth. And as we evolve that energy, we no longer need that validation from others, at least not as much as we needed it, perhaps, as a child. As we evolve this energy of Chiron and Aries, we become the emperor. We become the person who knows who we are, who knows the value of what we have to share, and we no longer have to seek that validation from others. We feel whole and complete within ourselves. Now, if you have planets or points in Aries, in the sign of Aries, between 10 and 15 degrees, you have felt this Chiron and Aries energy in some area of your life. Maybe you've had a physical, Aries is connected to the body. So maybe you've had a physical injury or a physical ailment, some sort of pain in your body that's come up for healing. Or maybe you have embarked on a new career or something where you had to up level your performance in some area of your life, and you had to face or are facing a lot of insecurity right now, a lot of performance anxiety, a lot of feeling stressed or pressured to do well. This is also Chiron and Aries. So if you have planets or points between 10 and 15 degrees of Aries, then you will probably feel this impetus to shift, to transform yourself and your sense of security and safety in the world even more. But we're all going to experience this as Chiron moves through all the degrees, all 29 degrees in Aries, up until 2027 when it finally goes into Taurus. The other astrology transit that is super supportive of our healing right now is the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. The Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces, along with Mars and Venus now in Pisces. So we have all these planets in Pisces. Pisces is deeply healing energy. I have a whole separate video for you on the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces that I encourage you to watch if you haven't yet. But this is about bringing heaven to earth. This is really about clearing our past, letting go of anything, any place where we have felt victimized, any place where we have felt small, where we've dimmed our light, where we felt less than, where we felt like we can't possibly muster the energy, the resources, the charisma, whatever it takes to do what we really want, where we have felt disappointed. This is the lower octave of Pisces energy, is this sense of disillusionment, disappointment, this sense of I can't have what I want. And this is what we're being invited to heal right now with all of these planets, and especially the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces, deep healing opportunity. So now I want to share with you the tools that I have used for my own healing and that I have seen cause wonderful breakthroughs and shifts for my coaching clients as well. The first tool I want to share with you is called Name Your Spirit. Name Your Spirit. I have a little story I want to share with you that illustrates this tool. So many years ago, when I had just gone through a massive spiritual awakening, like it was so massive, I felt like I was a totally different person. I was so connected to spirit. I was so connected to the ethereal realms, to my soul, to this kind of whole new mission that I felt my soul was here to take on and go forward with. But at the same time, my earthly life, it felt like it completely imploded, which so often happens when we go through a spiritual awakening, right? It's like we no longer feel like we fit in our life. We fit in the body, we fit in the clothes that we have, like everything feels like it's almost obsolete for us. And I remember going to a spiritual healer at the time, and she was also a psychic, and I remember her saying, it's like a train, like you've just been through a train wreck. And I was like, whoa, is it that bad? Like, really? That kind of, that probably wasn't the best metaphor, but now that I look back on it, I realize she was absolutely right. There was part of me that was just so attuned with what I wanted next and so in flow with that. And yet I was so confused about what do I do with my life now? Because my marriage of 22 years, I realized we were completely disconnected. I realized our marriage had really died and we needed a miracle to bring it back. And so what I did during that time, and I didn't even consciously or intellectually think of this, it just happened. What I started to do was I used to take these long walks in my neighborhood, and I lived in this semi-rural neighborhood, and I would take these long walks, and one day I decided to go up this pathway that wound up to the top of the hill to a cemetery. And in this cemetery was a big, beautiful marble statue of Jesus with Jesus's hands open like this, receiving you. It was such a like, I'm Jesus, let me give you a hug. It felt like that. So, Jesus with this beautiful smile on his face. And I think I said earlier in the video, I've never had religious teachings about Jesus because I didn't grow up as a Christian or a Catholic or any of that, but I have always felt a connection to Jesus and a connection to Mother Mary, and just felt like a kinship anyway, like as the presence of love, as the presence of unconditional love. And so I felt this kind of love emanate from this Jesus statue. And at the same time, right next to the Jesus statue, just a few feet away, was a cedar tree, an old growth cedar tree with twin trunks. And so I would go up my like bedraggled, exhausted, what's happening to my life, I don't know what to do next self, would go walk up this hill to the cemetery. It became my regular kind of destination for my walk. And I would go to the tree and I would put my arms around the tree, and to me, the two trunks were symbolic of like twin souls, of, a partnership that was mutually loving, that was in the same kind of vibration, frequency, consciousness, and they were so beautifully connected. And so it became like this metaphor for what I wanted in my life. So I would go to the tree, I would sit up against the tree on the ground, put my spine up against the tree, feel its energy, let its energy download into my body. And one day I was there and I saw a stick on the ground, and I just started kind of moving the stick around, making little designs in the dirt. And I remembered what a spiritual teacher had said to me not that long before. It was Sonia Choquette. Some of you may know of her. And she said, Betsy, name your spirit. And this was before my like huge awakening. I'd had little awakenings before that, but she knew on some level, she's like, you need to name your spirit. And so that day I was like, what's my spirit name going to be? What is the essence of my soul? What has not been seen by other people that I need to claim and bring out and acknowledge? And the words that came to me were brave heart beauty. Brave heart beauty, nothing to do with the movie. I hadn't seen the movie, but I knew I needed a brave heart to go forward. I knew I needed to muster so much courage in myself to make a change in my life that I just, on some level, I knew I had to make this change, but I was so scared to do it. I didn't feel equipped to do it. And so that became my name, the Brave Heart. And the beauty was just, I love beauty, and I wanted to acknowledge the beauty of my own soul. And so that became my name. Now, why is this important to name your spirit? How can this help you in your reparenting your inner child process? Our spirit, the essence of our soul, our inner child embodies that, expresses that. When our inner child feels loved, secure, held, and confident, our inner child embodies our spirit. I went to a coach once, and she said, Betsy, and I was feeling very unmotivated, and I was feeling like, what I need like to get going in my life? Like, why don't I have energy? Why am I not, doing what I know I need to do? And she said, your inner child is on strike. Your inner child is on strike. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that, because it really put it was an aha moment for me. A light bulb went off. That was like, your inner child, your inner child is what is fueling all your creativity. Your inner child, our inner child is what gives us the joy for life, what gives us the animation in our bodies. Let me take a moment to stretch. This is what our inner child gives us. And when we are not loving him or her, when we're not giving him or her the nourishment, the I see you, the I feel you, the I hear you that our inner child needs, our inner child goes on strike. And life becomes very slow and mundane and methodical, and it loses its luster. So this is why naming your spirit and beginning to identify with that spirit name can really shift you out of the identity that you have with your old life, the identity that you have with your past, with any sense of being victimized or being hurt in your life. It can take your focus away from that to an identity of who you really are, to your spiritual identity. Tool number 2, I feel you. Empathy, giving yourself the empathy that you may not have received as a child. I'm so sorry you're feeling this way today, my sweetheart. I'm giving you some words that I might use, that I have learned to use. And this is not easy. I want to say this is kind of advanced reparenting, but you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. And it's a process, and you practice it and you begin to take it on. And it's like, when you're not feeling good, when you're feeling low, when something just happened to you, when you got triggered by another person's behavior, and there's nobody giving you the empathy that you really need, giving that to yourself, like you would a best friend, like you would if you're a healer, a healing person, or if you're a teacher, one of your students. We have the ability, no problem, to give this to other people, right? It's giving to ourselves what we naturally give to other people. So if you can give it to someone else, you can give it to yourself. It's just a process of practicing. So I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. You don't deserve this. You deserve to be treated with love and care and respect. What are you feeling right now? So few of us were ever asked, what are you feeling? I know for me growing up, if I would be upset, my mom sort of had her go-to response. And this is not to fault my mom, because she didn't receive the healing that she needed either. But she would say, I think you're tired. You'll feel better tomorrow. That was her thing. It was always that, no matter what I was upset about. You're tired. You'll feel better tomorrow. Go to bed. So most of us, so many times, we don't even stop to check in with ourselves to find out, what am I feeling right now? So this is part of the empathy for self. What am I feeling, and how can I soothe myself so that my inner child knows that she's taken care of, or that he's taken care of, that he or she can feel secure knowing that I have his or her back. Tool number 3, I hear you. I hear you. Communication, opening up a line of communication between you and your inner child. And the core practice of this, I hear you, is beginning to ask your inner child, what do you need? Again, this is not natural for most of us. This is not natural, but we can begin to apply this. We can begin to ask ourselves, what do you need? How can I help you to feel better? What can I get for you? And it's interesting, because if you've read the book, The 5 Love Languages, and so many of us know about this book, the author is escaping me right now, but I will link to it in my description below. Words of affirmation, communication is a love language that I think a lot of us can relate to. It's not everyone's number 1 love language, but a lot of us can relate to it. And it's because we all have a deep need to feel heard, to be listened to have what we have to say reflected back to us. And this is why, if we can give this to ourselves, then it's so much more likely that we will then be able to receive this and get this from a partner, or from our good friends, or from, our children, whoever it is that we are interacting with. I love you. So we've done, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, and now I love you. This is the I love you mirror exercise by Louise Hay. I'm sure a lot of you know this. Louise Hay is super famous in the world of healing your life and all of that. But this is a mirror exercise that I've seen have profound effects. When I first did this myself, I would look in the mirror and I would say, I love you so much, Betsy. And I would get all teary and I would cry. And this is how you know that it's really working on a deep level. Clients will tell me, it really made me cry. And I'm like, yes, yay, that means it's working. So this is an exercise you can do first thing in the morning. And I encourage you to put a sticky note on your mirror in your bathroom, or you'll forget to do it. And here's the thing about all of these processes. All of these processes, your ego doesn't want you to do them. You'd be like, why? Why would my ego not want? Doesn't my ego want to feel safe and secure? Yes, but your ego doesn't know that these processes are going to help make it feel safe and secure. The ego doesn't want change. The ego is afraid of any kind of change. So the ego will do everything it can to help to make us forget to do these processes, everything it can. So this is why I love us putting little notes here and there to remind ourselves to do them. And the last one that I want to share with you is quality time. That is another love language, right? How many of us give ourselves the quality time to do what lights us up, to really nourish ourselves? I like to think of okay, for those of you who are wanting to attract a partner into your life, what is the one thing, or you already have a partner, but you want your partner to do something differently than they do? What is the one thing that either you wish your current partner or best friend or significant other would do for you? Or what is the one thing that you wish your potential partner would do? That is the thing you can give yourself. That is the quality time that you can give yourself. I love to dance. So I really need to give myself times to dance, to go out dancing, to dance in my living room, to dance while I'm cooking, whatever it is. Dancing lights me up. So that's for me. What is it for you? And finally, we can take ourselves through a visceral reprogramming process, a process of viscerally letting our inner child know that he or she is safe, is held, is comforted, is supported, that we have their back. And that is a guided meditation. And I have that guided meditation for you in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. And I will link to my book below. if you want to get that meditation through the book as well. And I do that with my clients on a regular basis. I have seen the most transformative shifts with some of my clients, just taking them through that guided meditation to connect with their inner child. So it's a really beautiful transformational process. For those of you who would like a personal astrology reading or a personal coaching session where we can really focus on your astrology chart, what transits are happening for you right now, what are your gifts and talents, your life purpose, what have you been going through that is difficult, when is that ending in terms of the astrology, what transits do you have to look forward to? I would love to engage with you in that, to support you in that way. And those of you who want to do a deep dive transformational coaching process with me, go to my website and check out my astrology and or my coaching pages as well. The links are below for that. So let's do a card reading. Let's do a card reading from the tarot deck about this reparenting inner child process, this time of rebirth that we are all going through, regardless of when you are listening to this video. We are all going through this process of expansion, of increasing our faith, of deepening into our soul's purpose, of fulfillment in our lives. And so let's see what the cards have to say about where we are and what we can tune into for our growth. The card is Four of Wands. Four of Wands. Wow. Wands is fire energy. You can see that there are 4 dancers dancing around a fire. They're having a celebration, it looks like. They are connected through the stream of whatever it is they're holding. It looks like some sort of garland. They are supported by the earth. They have these beautiful earthly green grasses around them, supporting them. Four of Wands energy is all about laying a foundation for your life. It is, it is considered the marriage card, actually. It is, in other decks, you see kind of this marriage canopy. And so I feel like this is such a good omen for anyone who's really wanting to up-level their life, who is wanting to call in a partner or begin a business or anything that you're beginning that lights up your heart. Fire energy, Wands energy, it corresponds to the fire of Aries. It is, to me, it's about building, it's about being supported. It's just such a beautiful card. I absolutely love the Four of Wands card because it tells us that you can build a structure that is supportive of you. The number 4 is support. It's like having your ducks in a row. It's like creating a structure that will hold you up. It is the solid foundation of a home on which you can build a gorgeous castle. It is so much about the foundation building. And add to it celebration. Obviously, there's a celebration going on. When I look at this card, I look at yes, we've done it. We have done it. And they're being so playful. They all have these these gorgeous leis around their necks. They're dressed up in their garb or whatever, and that they don't have a lot of clothes on. I will admit that. There's very little, but they do have these gorgeous leis around them, and there's a bird flying, and they are celebrating who they are. They're celebrating life. So here is to a beautiful celebration of life. And as we do this inner child healing, as we reparent ourselves, we can come out even more in our exuberance, our full expression, our authentic nature. And that is so gorgeous. So my beautiful friend, I hope this video has been helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what has resonated for you, or just leave me a little emoji. I absolutely love your comments. I love connecting with you, and I really want to thank those of you who like my videos, who comment, who share, who subscribe. You make it possible for me to grow my channel. Every time those likes and those comments register, there's more of a chance that my video will be shared in suggested videos and help more people. So thank you so much for your support. And your free gift, I have a free gift for you. It's a guided meditation, returning home to yourself, returning home to your heart. Go to my website, sign up for my free inspirational updates, and you will receive your guided meditation as an instant download. I will be back very soon with the Taurus solar eclipse video. I can't wait to share with you the power, the beauty, the supportive nature of this eclipse. And until then, I'm sending you all my love.